I'm gonna have to go Rambo on these flies today, I think. I'm gonna have to come out here and exterminate them. Terminate. Bum, 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 bum. Good job, Blue Jay. Blue Jay just snipped a fly. Fly snipper. For wrist. No. Who was frisked today? Was it Phoebes? It was Phoebes again. Phoebes racking up a first streak. Hello. How is everybody doing this fine day? I always thought it was pronounced Moog. I've heard it say Moog. I don't think it's Moog. Well, how? Wait a minute. Moog? Moog? I don't think so. It's Moog. Every time I've ever heard it used, it's Moog. Do you like shoegaze music? I've listened to a little bit of it, but I wouldn't say that I'm a huge fan of it. Shoegaze was really popular in I had a streak of popularity in like the late 90s, early 2000s that I tuned into. I can't remember many of the bands. I'm right. Get out of here, Phoebes. Get out of here. It's got a Moog. It's not Mug or Maug. It's Moog. It's got a Moog. No. Personally, the most patrician music is... Get out of here. Shut up. Anime people, shut up. How much money do you think you made from 4chan because of the trans episode? Millions. Millions and millions of dollars. So much money, I don't know what to do with it.
I'm pretty sure the channel wasn't even monetized when that one came out.
No. Bloop, ba doop doo doop.
Sorry, I just don't want to miss the groceries.
No, that's fine. It's all good. No worries, babe. Doop, ba doop doo doop. It's a good little jingle.
It's when I want to actually hear it. It's like the most hearable one for me.
Yeah. Bruh, make an episode about the history of 4chan. No thanks. Why don't you make an episode about the history of 4chan, bruh? Bruh. Anime openings are greater than all other music. Don't you get tired of the same shit? Like every anime opening that I've ever heard sounds like the exact same song to me. Kono ha watashi wa dono ha chana wa. It's the same shit. Little flashes of the different characters posing in different ways. Get out of here. Boo. Boo. Yeah, D doesn't like it either, huh? Not a fan. What are you looking at? You just drive me crazy. You look so intently at things, and then I look and there's nothing there. It's like, are you seeing ghosts? Do you see a ghost?
I'll bring him in here in a minute.
No, that's fine.
Let's save the trans episode was definitely that subscribers only live chat.
Yeah, that helped. Then we actually got people that were engaged with the shit, not just there to fucking. It's a good little thing. I wish they would let me turn it on for like mobile streams. But I guess I could just go inside and turn it on. I think you can turn it on midstream. Just have to do it on my desktop. Yeah, dude. The house theme. Well, the house theme was an actual song. It's Teardrops by Massive Attack.
Yeah.
Or Teardrop by Massive Attack. So that song was like super popular before house was even a thing. So there probably are a lot of people that listen to the house theme, I would imagine. But yeah, the NCIS theme or whatever, the it's cool, but like I don't Monohama Mochiwa, yeah. I get you, dude. I hear you. Got 2 likes from the DFF channel on its uploads in a row. I'm so special. Look at you. Check you out, buddy. Yeah. If it wasn't so overused, that Massive Attack song would be pretty cool. I just can't listen to it now because I've heard it so much. It was used on House. And like House was one of those shows that is a rare show that I liked for a while, but then I just got so sick of the formulaic fucking shit. Like I started to feel like every episode of House was the same thing because it was basically. Somebody would come in, everybody would misdiagnose the patient, but House would have some crazy fucking drug fueled idea that led him to figure out what was really wrong with the patient. Everybody thought he was wrong, but then he'd end up being right. He'd break a bunch of rules and almost get fired, and then episode over. The Sopranos theme. Yeah. I mean, it's a memorable theme for sure.
We do skip it.
Yeah, it's not like something I listen to. When I'm watching The Sopranos, I don't listen to the song. I skip the intros. But yeah, I burned myself out on House. But yeah, that music in the time on YouTube when using a song didn't get your fucking channel a strike on it, people would use that Massive Attack song constantly for like anime music videos, like montages of them doing skateboarding or skydiving or wingsuiting or whatever the fuck they were doing. It was just like that was the soundtrack to everything cool for like 3 or 4 years.
And fucking those emo bands, people would use those all the time.
Oh yeah. The screamo shit.
Remember that trend where like people would like hold up note cards or whatever?
Yeah. Remember they reference it in Unfriended.
Yeah.
Whatever her name was. I can't remember the name of the girl. But she made one of those videos where she's like going through her feelings on cards with like a really sad song playing. Yeah. That was a thing. Then there was the Draw My Life thing where everybody like trauma dumped.
Yeah.
That was basically like, here's an excuse for me to trauma dump with cute little pictures that I drew. So everybody was trauma dumping for a while. Gotta love that. I love that term because I never knew what that term was. Like I never knew that there was a name for it.
Yeah.
And then when I learned the term trauma dumping, I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking, it's so perfect. Because people will do that shit, dude. And it's not to undermine the pain people go through and shit, but there's a time and a place to share that type of shit, and a time and a place to not. You can't just be a constant beacon of your own trauma. Yeah, dude, there was no way I was ever doing a draw my life trend. That shit was fucking cringe from the get. Nah, you're wrong, Jimmy boy. Cringe.
Yeah, and then people used to mirror videos too.
Yeah, that used to be people used to ask for it
Yeah.
because sometimes videos would just disappear out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Mirror this video in case it gets taken down. Well,
yeah, back when YouTube couldn't figure that shit out.
Yeah.
I didn't have content ID.
They didn't have the algorithm yet. Yeah.
I think back then they really fucking like it was mainly based on reports, wasn't it?
What? Oh yeah.
Down videos. If someone did report it, they were.
Well, people would false flag back then.
Yeah.
Like that was a thing. Like now, I guess it's probably still a thing, but it's way harder to do now.
Like, I think they have to have like a certain threshold of reports before they actually look at that.
Like it was a good and a bad thing. It was because like I remember back in the day there was like a hard and fast policy. I think there still is on YouTube. If you've been banned, you don't get to come back. But it's not enforced now. It used to be enforced, and that's how it was enforced. Somebody would so Brett Keane would get banned. He'd come back on another channel, and then somebody, just like maybe probably one person, would report like, hey, this person's been banned, and 2 weeks later his channel was gone again.
I don't think that's an option on the reporting thing anymore.
No. Because they've turned every person into a million people.
Yeah.
So there's no way to like really report somebody. I mean, on the back end they can tell who's who, but they're not interested in they're not interested in enforcing it at all. So fuck it. I'm not gonna be able to get that guy without peppering you. So we'll wait. He knows, dude. Where did he go? Where did he go? Yeah, the false flagging thing is not. I mean, it happens still. I know for a fact, but it's harder to do now than it used to be. But there used to be really no repercussions either. Like account bans and getting flagged and shit were two different things. Flies. Doesn't that work in favor of people who had channels taken down for questionable or absurd reasons? Sure, yeah.
It's better to just get your old channel back with all their subscribers and.
Yep.
Twitch is probably a hard line about that shit, though.
I think they enforce it more than YouTube does.
Yeah.
Dude, yesterday was kind of a fucked up day, like mentally for me. I had a whole. It's okay for me to delve into shit like the doomerist kind of shit. We did that on fucking Highdeology yesterday. We had a very kind of like doomer climate kind of thing discussion, which was fine. It was a good discussion. And then like later on that day, I was just chilling out here, smoking a joint at night, and I was like, do one of those fucking Twitter spaces, and I ended up getting dragged into the same conversation again. And it was just like, man, I fucking boiled myself in the soup of doomerism yesterday, and it just was not a good thing. You gotta like limit your diet of that type of thinking, because it'll take you over for sure. Buzz off, you flies. Let's just let him in.
Yeah. I don't want you harassed by those flies.
Bad enough that they harass us. You ain't gotta take that shit, D. Paul, do you like walks in nature? I do. If there's a place that's got a really good nature trail and stuff, I really do like a walk in nature. Me and Amelia, have we walked it twice now?
Yeah.
The Bob Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the Bob Jones Trail in San Luis Obispo County, right near Pismo. That's one of my favorite walking trails. It's just beautiful there. The weather is almost always perfect for a walk, and there's tons and tons of really interesting scenery along the way. And it's one of those walks that it's only as long as you need it to be. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to walk the whole trail. I know where a good turn back point is, like basically where the midpoint is. And that's usually where we walk to. And it's, I don't know, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to once we move, is that it has a lot of that type of stuff, walking trails and national park type of stuff and state park type of stuff. So it should be really a lot of pretty nature. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I do like doing little nature walks. Just like the climate for it here just doesn't exist.
No, it's like we have to take a fucking big drive to get anywhere decent.
And even then, you're just walking around in fucking horrible air quality. It's just not feasible here, unfortunately. Did you ever do a nature stream? Maybe. It might be kind of fun if I had like a walking trail near my house or something. Or like one that I liked to go to. It might be kind of fun to try and like just walk around and look at things together. But I like to use that time to be more self-reflective and shit. It would be kind of like bringing work to a leisure activity. Do you still wear your mask when you go in public? Yep. Should move back up here to Seattle. Yeah, no thank you. Take a look at what's happening to the western United States and tell me that you think that I should move to fucking Seattle. Bought one of those salt guns because of you. Let's start our own salt militia. Yeah, let's do it, dude. I'm thinking about getting Amelia the handgun one.
Yeah. We need a sponsorship from fucking Bug Assault, man.
Seriously, dude, how many times have I fucking sold one? I bet I've sold 10 or 15 of their guns just talking about it.
Yeah.
Come on, Bug Assault. Sponsor me. I'll kill flies for Bug Assault. Be your designated fly killer. The Fly Deadeye. It would be pretty simple for me to like set up a little stream. Like if I had a laptop, put a GoPro on the end of this fucking thing,
Yeah.
switch to it real quick so people can watch me kill the flies. I just don't think flies are going to be as big a problem where we're going.
Yeah.
Maybe in the summer. Fastest salt gun in the West.
Yeah. I don't know if we should. Yeah. We should bring it or not. Like, is that gonna be like?
It'll be fine. Pack it away. It's a fucking obvious toy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got the orange.
It's got the orange tips and the orange triggers and everything. Nobody's gonna fucking mistake that for an actual weapon. And if they do, you get to sue the police for killing me. So good for you.
So.
You get millions. They make a musket one. Hey, that's what I think. I think they need to branch out. They need to make like an automatic one. One that just like boom, zoom, 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 so you can just like shoot them out of the air. Because that's one of the things I can't do with this thing. I've yet to hit one out of the air. now.
Like it's supposed to be like air pump shit. You can't fucking.
I want a minigun one too. One that's got like. Come on, Bug Assault. Let's do it. Let's up the game. I need more salts to throw at these fucks, dude. I need to be able to just like point at a swarm of them and drop them all. You already make a CO2 revolver. Why not a CO2 AR style rifle? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. So here's a topic that you know I feel like I've maybe been not talking about as much as maybe I should, and that is this kind of burgeoning labor strike movement that's happening across the country, and a lot of the kind of natural shows of solidarity that are happening. There was a video I saw the other night of the Nabisco strike, where strikers convinced a driver not to break the strike line and turn his load around. It's huge. There's another video circulating of a motorcycle club showing up to help strikers keep scabs from going into their jobs and shit. And so one of the things you have to understand too is this is something that I've talked about before. Solidarity in the labor space transcends politics. So this is a motorcycle club. Okay, these are not well-known liberal bastions. These are mostly conservative people, but these are labor people, right? They have common interest with the working man despite what their internal politics might be. And so you're starting to see these shows of solidarity across political lines, and this is exactly what I've been fucking preaching. It's exactly what I've been trying to bring awareness to, is the fact that one of the answers, if not the answer, to the divisive, politically fucking divided kind of environment that has cropped up here in the United States is labor. Labor is that bridge because it's a common interest. So and it's exciting to see these strikes starting to pile up. It's definitely now making a measurable impingement on these fucking companies.
John Deere strike.
Yep. And there seems to be class-based solidarity happening at a lot of these strikes. And that's exactly what I've been talking about, man. It's not necessarily embracing people for their political views. It's setting aside the political aspect of people and looking at your common interest. That's how labor works. And I'm telling you, labor radicalizes people. It really does, in a way that politics can't touch. When you understand that labor is a structure outside of the political that provides massive, massive benefit to you, it creates a new sense of loyalty in people. And they set politics on a lower tier. I've talked about this before, but I've got a lot of cousins who happen to be in a fucking labor union who are also super right-wing people, super Second Amendment, gun rights, super fucking socially conservative. They're not religious conservatives, but they hold a lot of the same views when it comes to social issues and shit. But these are labor people. They vote for Democrats in California because Democrats are the only people that show up and make promises and keep promises to the labor movement. And so their whole political bullshit, their whole Trumpism gets set aside. They vote for Gavin Newsom. Why? Because Gavin Newsom comes to their fucking National Labor Conference and talks to them and listens to them. So it's post-political. Or maybe pre-political would be a better way to put it. It intercedes prior to political affiliation. Absolutely not. I'm 100% behind gun rights when it comes to, I just want it to be fucking safely monitored and safely regulated. That's all I fucking care about with guns.
It's like you don't need every single person to have a gun to fucking have an impact on the strike line with a gun.
No. But the fact that sometimes it does escalate to that point where you need to protect yourself on the strike line, knowing some of these fucking tactics will continue to be used. Watch Harlan County, USA, and learn about the, as they call them on the line, the gun thugs. They would literally hire these people, ostensibly just scabs who are trying to come and work, but a few of them would be hired to agitate the strike line, and some of them to pop shots, shoot their guns in the air, pull their guns out and point it at people, move these cars out of this road, we're going to work. And these were not people that were like actual scabs who were just looking for a day labor. These were people that were placed there by the company to menace people with guns. And it escalates over the course of that fucking documentary to the point where the people standing the strike line are lining their cars up tactically, and 3 or 4 people at the fucking strike have got guns. And when the scabs pull up and the gun thugs pull up, they've got fucking 5, 6 guns trained on them already. You want to start flashing your piece now? Methinks not. You just watch it happen. This is not like something that people made up. This is a documentary that followed a labor movement in Harlan County, West Virginia. It happened in that documentary. They don't catch it on video because it just didn't happen to be one of the days where the gun thugs picked a day when the fucking documentary crew wasn't there filming. But somebody pulled right up on the strike line and blew a dude away with a shotgun. And you know what it did? It radicalized that fucking union. That's when the guns started showing up. Because it's one thing to be menaced with a gun and another thing to have one shot at you. And that's when the guns started showing up. Yep, you can watch it free on YouTube. Phoebe's just linked it. Mandatory viewing if you're interested at all in the power of labor and what it takes and what solidarity is and means. And the tactics that will be used against all of these labor strikes are already being used. There's already scabs showing up at the fucking Nabisco plants and shit. Scabs showing up at the John Deere plant. Give me a fucking break. Definitely worth every second of your time, trust me. Filled with great labor knowledge.
Would you say it's important to set up the infrastructure for a proper union first before striking, or do you support people striking without building a union first?
I mean, I support people striking without building a union because oftentimes that's how a union begins, because a strike requires organization. However, I do think that eventually a lot of these workers are going to need to join together in a stronger national organization so that strike support can happen, because right now we're depending on the charity of others, and we're depending on these motorcycle clubs and people that are willing to go and put their body on the strike line and shit. They need money. They need strike pay. These people are going to go under without it, and the company knows that. They know they can wait the strike out.
I mean, some of them are part of proper unions, so.
Yep, true that. Like the IATSE strike that's about to happen, that's going to be huge. That's going to immediately shut down a whole lot of movie production, which is California's fucking bread and butter, dude. It's our biggest export.
Yeah, I think you also get like a lot more legal protections for striking too if they vote for it as a collective recognized union.
Yep. It's just starting to they're starting to become this, people are rediscovering what is really old knowledge here in the United States. There's been a long time where unions have rotted, union membership has fallen because unions become less and less powerful and less adopted. And this is all by design.
Right to work
Yep.
shit.
Right to work states and all this shit has happened in the interim, and people have gotten locked into this. Well, you know, it's better than living in fucking communist China or whatever, so I'll just go to my shit job. And the end result of that isn't that it just stays baseline kind of terrible. It gets worse.
Yeah, like there's no obligation for your employer to keep your pay the same, keep
No.
your benefits the same.
Once they see they can
Contract.
take a little, they're going to take more. Once they see that they can stomp on you a little, they're going to stomp on you more. So it's not like they're even willing to find a baseline where it's kind of terrible to have a shit job, but hey, it's workable and make enough to get by on. Nope. That's not good enough for them. They're not getting enough of your money.
Yeah, dude, fucking the turnaround, like when Amazon raised the wage to $15 an hour but took away the stock.
Right.
How much the stock went up after they stopped giving it to their employees.
Of course.
It's like they raised your pay a little bit, but they cut you out of a bunch of money because they stopped gifting stocks.
Yep. Nope. One job is not enough. At the baseline, one job is no longer enough. You got to have 2 jobs or 3 jobs.
Or live with multiple people.
Yep. Live like semi-communally and share, you know, a fucking 2-bedroom apartment with 4 people. This is the type of shit people are having to do to get by now.
It's like, it's almost the stay-at-home mom dream is just fucking...
It's disappeared almost for most people.
Yeah, a lot of moms, like, they'll literally work until, like, the day before they give birth.
Yeah.
They have to.
I have 3 roommates, man. I understand. I did too. And things were better for me than they are for you. When I was in my 20s, I had to have 2 roommates to make ends meet, but I was also able to buy the place that I lived in. So I was subletting to 2 people in the place that I owned. That's become a dream. You know what I mean?
I really think that's the way to reach conservatives is, like, look at the family shit. It's like you used to be able to have the mom stay at home.
That's why labor works with conservatives.
Yeah.
Because you don't necessarily go after the political theory shit. That's why you guys have heard me, like, talk about the difference between talking theory with a bunch of leftists and the difference between talking labor with labor people. You don't go down south to a factory and go like, Marx said this and Engels did that. You don't even start. That's a non-starter down there. You talk about what's been taken off of their table. How much turkey has been taken off at your table? Look at what your parents were able to do for you. They were able to, your mom stayed at home. She was a homemaker. Your dad worked and was able to support you and your brothers and sisters. And now look at that. Now both you and your wife work and you're barely making ends meet for your kids. That's fucking universal, dude. That's, like I said, either pre or post political, depending on how you want to couch it. And that's the only way that you do it. Like you have to hit people where it hurts. You have to show people the real damage in their lives and how they cannot rely on these people in the political structure to take up for them. You've got to show them the history of people standing up and taking their labor rights. And you've got to show them that it's 100% possible now. See, this is all, none of this has anything to do with Trump or Biden or AOC or Nancy Pelosi. You don't understand. This is why I've been advocating that real leftists step back from that political process. Stop investing so much of their fucking time and energy making excuses for those political people and start organizing labor. And now you're starting to see the fruits of that kind of leftism. Because make no bones about it. You can sell it to a conservative. Labor is inherently left. Labor is inherently left. How do you think you bring people over? Maybe not wholly, but somewhat. How do you think you convince conservative people to vote for fucking leftist policy? This is where contact theory comes into play. Another thing that I've talked about when it comes to labor and labor movements. It is far easier to make a convert out of a conservative, social conservative, fiscal conservative, whatever, working in the same space with them than it is yelling at them over the fucking internet, bro. It doesn't work. You're not going to browbeat people that have a hug box to go back to that's willing to browbeat back. It's just tribalism. It's bullshit. You've got to make tribalism work for you. The labor tribe. Appeal to that. When your fucking pay goes up, so does your brother's pay. You know? A rising tide raises all ships. That's something you can sell to a fucking conservative.
And that softens them to the idea of like social programs. It's like we all help each other.
Yep. See, this type of shit is important. And this is at the heart of all of my agitation and all of my anti-fucking, online left shit. Is because I think that they're working against this. Of all the strikes going on the IATSE strike could be the most impactful. I'm ready for the new creative wave. It could be. I don't know exactly that it will be, but it could be. You're absolutely right. There might be an 11th hour agreement, but we'll see.
Unfortunately, that was just a lot harder to kind of prevent scabs in an industry like that.
Well, there are agreements that IATSE has with the other guilds,
Oh yeah.
so they can't.
I see.
They have to shut down these. They cannot use people that are not members of IATSE to make movies.
I see.
So if they shut down, all the movie productions shut down, all the TV productions shut down. This could be a huge strike. And hugely impactful on an industry that has become more and more exploitative and frankly less and less successful.
And they're in more of a pinch now too because so many productions had to be delayed because of COVID.
Yep. They're desperate for that flow to open back up again. And this is, once again, I've been talking about how COVID was one of the greatest things, one of the greatest opportunities for labor, because it strapped some of these companies. These companies had to do all this creative accounting to make it look like they remained super profitable during a time when they couldn't be. And now they need you back at work. They need those factories pumping out shit more than ever now. They need it back to normal so bad. And right now they're weakened. They're not going to be able to do creative accounting to cover some of these fucking factory losses now. This is the perfect time for labor. Perfect.
Think of how many sales places like Walmart and Target missed out on because people were not comfortable just browsing
Yep.
the store.
Or not able to due to lockdowns.
Yeah.
Just literally couldn't do it. Weren't allowed to, or were restricted to certain hours of the day, or had to wait in long ass lines to go in 10 at a time. That's slowing down commerce at a Walmart.
Yeah, they couldn't be open 24 hours
No.
anymore.
Walmart lost money.
Yeah.
They're hurting. All these restaurants and shit, they're hurting. These fast food chains, hurting. All of them suffered during the pandemic. All of them. All of them lost business. All of them spent more money on labor than they took out. It's time, dude. This is the perfect fucking time. The beast is weak. It's just true, dude. The wildebeest is limping. It's time to put a few more arrows in its ass. And it looks like that's going to start happening pretty much every week I hear about one or two more of these little localized strikes that are connected to larger organizations. And it's just like, boom, 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 boom. Critical mass. New fucking class awareness. Class solidarity is becoming a thing. People are starting to realize what we've been fucked out of. People are waking up left, right, and center. All these voiceless, fucking faceless folk that have nobly worked so fucking hard for pennies on the dollar, what they're worth, have finally decided that it's time to stand up.
It's like at a certain point, like, yeah, those people that are working 7 days a week are getting overtime pay, but how much is your time worth when, like, you literally can't rest?
That's the point, is like, that's part of a labor union. The 8-hour workday was the biggest labor issue in American history. It started the fucking labor movement in America in the Gilded Age post-Civil War. It was not the first example of organized labor, but it really was the unifying principle. We should only have to work 8 hours a day because people were
16
working
hours a day.
12, 16, 20 hours shifts, double shifts, triple shifts. That type of shit still happens, but people get more money now. That didn't used to be a thing. It used to be like, hey, we need you to stay. Yeah, you get paid for your hours or whatever the fuck, but you don't get to go home. You don't get to cook for your family. The 5-day work week, the weekend. This was another thing that the first American labor movement fought for. People having time to like sit at home and be okay and enjoy the fruits of their labor. That just didn't used to be a thing. So many people worked 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 6.5 days a week.
I honestly think mandatory overtime should be banned unless it's like a vital fucking industry.
Yeah, I mean, and even then, if it's a vital industry, there should be reserves in place to come in and relieve people. So there's really no excuse for you to have to fucking to be guilt tripped or forced into working a 20-hour fucking shift. I've done it. Maybe not 20, but like when I was working at Starbucks and shit, when I moved into the leadership role and there was no other leader to come in, like I had no choice. I was just a shift supervisor. But it's just like, let's say the next shift soup fucking no call, no shows. And I can't get a hold of the fucking store manager.
Like you were already there at like 4 in the morning.
Right. I opened the store. My mid shift didn't show up. And now my closer didn't show up. That, you know, dude, it was rare, but that happened to me probably 24 times over the course of my fucking time with Starbucks. What did that mean? That means I worked an open to close. I opened the store and then I locked it up at the end of the night.
You're just fucking broken at a certain point. Probably 80 hours a week is like the max people should.
Oh my God, people shouldn't even work. People should, like 40 hours is too much.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. Like there are, I can't remember where it was, but there are places that have moved to like a 30-hour work week and mandatory vacation time and all that shit. Some of the Nordic countries have that shit. Dude, the less people are at their fucking job, the more productive they are when they're there. And so it actually makes sense to just hire more people and work them less and pay them all an equal wage so that they can live. Because you get more productivity when a person isn't run down into the ground. That Amazon's whole thing is like they're so huge that they can use people up. And then the turnover doesn't matter because there's 18 people that showed up that day to replace the 2 or 3 that fell out. So fuck it. You know what I mean? That's just...
It's their mode of operation.
Yep.
Suck people dry.
Yep. Use them up, overwork them to the point of like psychological or physical breakdown or both. And then toss them out. Get rid of them. What's your thoughts on essential workers being forced to now work multiple roles in a company and the corp's reduction in personnel needs? Is this possibly a partial fake labor shortage? I don't know. I just now started to hear about these, like, they're asking people to do these multiple roles in the company, and like they're having company people step down and work at the fucking chicken shop now and shit. Very weird. Yeah, that's a quote from Harlan County, USA, talking about, there's a guy that tells this story, and it's just so fucking, it's like the darkest story. And it's told as a joke. That's really the character of the laborer. Gallows humor, right? And this old miner says, you know, he was taking a mule down into the mine to pull out, because that's, you know, how they would pull out some of the fucking ore and shit. And his boss yells at him, "You take care of that mule down there. You don't let nothing happen to that mule." And the guy turned around. He said, I kind of jokingly said, "Well, mule boss, what about me? What if I get hurt down there?" And the boss's straight-faced reply was, "I can hire another man. I had to buy that mule." Fuck. Jesus Christ, bro. And that's what happens when you allow capitalism to run rampant with no labor intercessor. That's what happens. They literally get to the fucking point where they don't even look at you as a human being. That's what was happening in the Gilded Age when the first major labor movement happened in this country. These giant companies had conglomerated to the point where human beings were just numbers on their fucking spreadsheet. Didn't matter if one of them dropped dead or got squished on the fucking job, because there were 10 other fucking desperate, hungry people waiting to fucking do this horrible work. The 4-day work week increases productivity by 30 to 40%, right? Wasn't that argument used by slave owners against capitalists up north? Yes, it was. Do you think communism would only work in a first world country? I don't even know if communism works, bro. I just don't know that fundamentally communism addresses the actual needs of human beings. Fundamentally and functionally. Socialism, either. But it is what it is. I'm not really a staunch advocate for either of those things, you know. I stopped calling myself a socialist a long time ago. You're making the tankies cry. You're making the tankies cry. Like, if I had to if I get to choose my own label, I'm a labor leftist. That's really my politics. I don't fucking simp for any political candidate. I'm mostly, if not completely, divested from the political process. I'm a labor leftist. Now, ultimately, my goals align with a lot of these ideologies that I'm talking about. A socialist is happy when worker sees, if not the means of the production, part of the fucking product of the production, more of the fucking profit from the production. That's a move towards socialism. That's an exciting moment for a socialist. That's an exciting moment for a labor leftist. But I'm not a big fan of labels. I've always been of the mind that if somebody wants to know what I think about something, have the courtesy to fucking ask me. Don't just ask me what I am and assume what I think. That's why I eschew labels. If somebody really wants to know what I think about something, I want them to ask me a pointed fucking question. Saw Harlan County last night. Great documentary. Thanks for recommending it, for sure, bro. 'Twas my pleasure. Why did America become so corrupt? Capitalism, I guess. I don't know how else to answer that question. Capitalism is corruption. It breeds corruption. Maybe it should be relabeled corruptionism. I really do think that that's a better descriptor for it as an economic system. It's just a constant state of legal entropy, a constant state of wealth transfer, a constant state of greater and greater atrocities across the globe against the environment, against people in the third world, against people in our own fucking country, against immigrants to our country. It's just a cycle of hate and fucking violence. It's a giant meat grinder. What do you think about immigration? Because a lot of working class Americans are against it. These are comrades, dude. These are labor people. These are people that are coming here that want to work. The first labor movement in America was almost entirely comprised of immigrants to this country. Eastern European immigrants, Russian immigrants, Jewish immigrants, all of these enclaves of people that came first generation here to this country were the spark that lit the fire under the first major labor movement and earned us the 8-hour workday, the 40-hour work week, paid overtime, etc. Right? So that's something that I'm very staunch about. Immigrants are comrades. Immigrants are they're fellow laborers. They're looking to work. Their voices are strong. They're powerful people on the line. A lot of the immigrants that people are afraid of have a rich social tradition of labor advocacy. They're coming here to fucking help. Period. So demonizing them is just, it's like cutting off your fucking nose to spite your face. These people, we need them. We need their perspective. We need their labor. We need their central focus. You know, these people are hardworking. Let me tell you a misconception about a certain class of immigrants here. You ready for this? You'll hear this a lot, that Hispanic people are lazy, shifty. You know what my experience growing up in an area that was largely made up of first generation, second generation, third generation Hispanic migrant people? They're fucking hardworking. Absolutely dedicated, hardworking people. They're exactly what's needed in the fucking labor movement. So I'm strongly pro-immigration and pro-immigrant. It's one of the reasons why I fucking bowed out of politics, because I watched the people that I voted for accelerate the deportation of the very people that I'm talking about who came here to work. It's one of the reasons why I don't lend any credence or any votes to these fucking DNC politicians, because I voted for Barack Obama. And I watched him deport more people than George W. Bush deported. I watched him build the prisons at the border that started to house children. And you want me to go vote for that person again as a strong supporter of immigrants' rights and immigration? Nope. Best friend as a kid was Mexican. His dad was first generation. He drove me around, pointed out everything he'd built. It was staggering how many places I used and had been to that he built. Yeah. Were there a lot of Hispanics in your parents' labor union? Yes. There are just a lot of Hispanics where I grew up. The demographics are, I think the last time I looked, especially if you take into account undocumented peoples, are something like 80-20. Split between Hispanics and white folk and black folk and every other race, Asian folk, Indian folk, that sort of thing. Let's just put it this way. I live in an area where my whole life, was a white minority area. It was a white minority area that desperately wanted to be a white majority area, but somehow couldn't get any of the fucking work done that needed to be done without the help of all of the non-whites. It was just a fucking land of hypocrisy. And it still is.
I'm doing some laundry.
Oh, yeah. Buzz, buzz. Get out of here. I've killed many of your friends. And I'll kill many more. Oh, it's not cocked. Goddamn it. Gotcha. Watched Halloween Kills. It was decent. Had some good kills. I'm so fucking uninterested in the Halloween franchise. I couldn't care less. I'm glad, you know what? I'm glad that TJ's happy about it. It's fun to see my friend excited about something, you know? So I hope it's good for his sake. But I couldn't be less interested in another Michael Myers movie, dude. Wanting more and more immigrants seems to me to be at odds with our ideas about coming resource wars and automation eliminating all jobs. If we agree that massive scarcity is imminent, why more people? Because I don't think in terms of the arbitrary lines that have been drawn on a map. We are a species that shares the same globe. You are if you slit yourself open, you are functionally no different from somebody that was born on the other side of the fucking globe from you. So everything else is politics and bullshit. So I look at things globally. I look at the value that people have brought in the past. I look at how people have moved en masse from one place to the next and changed the culture of that place over and over in fucking history. Always in the long term for the fucking better, and I don't fear it because I don't think of the world as the little shapes that you see on the map. That be damned. To me, I'm a pro-immigrant person because I'm a globalist at heart. I don't believe that there shouldn't be a class known as immigrant. That's how left I am. I think that we should live in a world where people can travel wherever the fuck they want and live wherever the fuck they want and get a baseline that they can live with. There should be a global paradigm that protects different cultures and shit and lets people observe different things, but that provides a baseline that allows anybody to move anywhere that they want. I'm for a big, beautiful mix of culture and the sharing of this fucking planet. That's my wild fucking idea. And you can go back and look at that. That's been part of my ideology here on fucking this channel and elsewhere since God was a boy. So I don't care. That's why I don't look at immigration as a problem. Because I want to see these countries broken up and dissolve into a greater mass. I want to see these big giant paradigms destroyed. The United States is not something worth preserving in my mind. Not to the point of killing other people for trying to get into it. If massive scarcity is coming... So if massive scarcity is coming, tell me what's better. Having 180, 160 something countries, I can't remember exactly the number of countries, each one of them their own enclave, hoarding their own shit, not sharing it, or having a global society that shares everything. What do you think's better? How do you think you better deal with scarcity? Being a protectionist like you? Or opening the fucking borders and breaking down the walls of commerce and allowing the distribution of goods where they're needed. Hello? Scarcity is caused by what you're advocating for. 195 countries. Thank you, Gabagool.
And it's like, would you rather invite people into your country or would you rather have them invade you because they need your resources?
Right.
Because, yeah, if we don't let people in, they're going to fucking force their way in.
Well, they're doing it now.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pipe dream, Paul. You know what sounds like a pipe dream? America living forever. That's the pipe dream. The paradigm never changing. These stupid arbitrary borders that these countries have drawn around themselves, making the law different on one piece of land than it is on another piece of land, making less and less sense as time goes on. That's the truth. You want to look at what's going to happen to all of these paradigms that you're so fucking defensive of? Look at the past. Look at the history of Europe. Look at the history of Africa. Look at the history of China. Look at the history of the fucking United States prior to us coming here. Nothing but shifting territories, shifting alliances, upended paradigms, new countries made out of old. Do you think that we're immune to that now? That shit is coming. You think that, like, I'm some kind of crackpot for advocating for a new paradigm? Dude, I'm probably one of the most rational people in the world when it comes to that shit. Because I look at history and I realize that that's what happens.
It's like you either invite everyone to come together or everyone's going to forcibly take over each other.
It's not every day you get to see a country die. Strap in. Yep. I'm passionate about this shit. This is interesting and important to me. It's your goddamn fucking right. I'm an advocate for immigrants. I'm an advocate for tearing down these fucking borders and coming up with a paradigm where we're not killing the world and we're providing for the people that are here.
Think of how many resources are wasted in war. Because part of war is like destroying each other's resources.
Yeah, destroying infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that you have to mine and rebuild and use a bunch of labor hours and a bunch of materials again. It's just one of the costs.
More scarcity.
Right. It creates more scarcity and more division between people and more enclaves of people that hate one another just based on what little piece of land their mom squatted down and shot them out on.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
And like with scarcity, you need more work to get what little resources are available. Like look at California with all these wells. We need more well diggers, obviously.
Yeah.
And who's gonna dig wells? Like fucking Americans going to college or someone that's an immigrant that's used to hard labor.
Yeah. Islam is about tearing down what other countries has built. Islam is not a monolith, just like Christianity is not a monolith. Every Christian is not for diddling children. Every Christian is not for weird, polygamist cults and separatist movements and weird shit like fucking Waco and whatnot. So Islam is not a monolith, so quit painting it like one. There are extremists in Islam, dude. Have you ever heard Christian nationalism? There are people that have their children pray to the Christian flag before the American flag every day and shit. So get bent, bro. You want to talk about Christian nationalism having an impact in the world? How about the fact that the person that ramped up our fucking war in the Middle East talked endlessly about how God had told him to do it? Hello. So don't paint all of fucking a group of people that have one religion or another with one broad brush, because you're just stupid if you do. It makes you look silly.
If you think Islam is backwards, you know how you get it not backwards? Integrating them into society.
Do you think that those areas that are backwards might be backwards because they've had close to 100 years of fucking Western intervention in their fucking culture? You do realize that the fucking Arabic world at one point in human history was the center of fucking science and culture, right? And that Europe was filled with barbarians and people that were fucking killing each other in mass. And the enlightened area of the world, the area of the world that was churning out literature and science was the Arabic world. And due to constant Western intervention, that place, over the course of fucking centuries, has been systematically dismantled. Do you think that those extremists living in those countries, you think it has anything to do with that constant fucking interventionalism that fucking continues to this day? Bombing their cities into shit, deposing their leaders and replacing them with people that are worse. Hello?
It's like Iran Iran used to be super progressive. Like, women didn't have to cover their hair and shit.
Yeah.
Or skirts.
Exactly. And then what happened? America and the Western powers intervened, overturned the fucking westernizing government in Iran, and replaced it and allowed it to be replaced with a fucking religious conservative, and turned Iran into a nightmare. And then continued to put sanctions on Iran to make people buy more and more into the fucking extremist message that the mullahs were preaching. Now you got a totally different fucking society in Iran. All due to our interventionalism. Excellent stream so far. Happy Friday to you and your wife. Didn't realize before what we were celebrating. Love learning about labor stuff. Cool. Well, thank you. I think we realize we destroyed that region of the world. Well, of course we do. Yeah, the U.S. deposed the democratically elected leader and installed the Shah of Iran, who was then overthrown in a coup and led to this fucking military shit. Think about that. I want you to imagine some foreign power came here, killed our president, and replaced it, killed our president, our legislature, and our judiciary, and replaced it with a completely foreign government. What do you think would happen to this place?
People would want to overthrow that new government.
People would go fucking apeshit. The place would tear itself apart. But for some reason, we're supposed to look at an entire group of people and say it's their fault. No. We created Islamic extremism with our fucking foreign policy. Now, it's not like it didn't exist prior, but we allowed it to gain traction with people. With our constant bombing, our constant interventionalism, and our constant economic exploitation of that region of the world. Period. Point blank. The Middle East was the most advanced civilization in the world at one point, and the West turned it into a hellhole. Yes. Absolutely.
Like 9/11 happened because of Western interventionism.
Yes. We trained the people who perpetrated 9/11. The CIA armed and trained the people who perpetrated 9/11. Let me say that again. We intervened in their country, gave them a bunch of weapons, and trained them to fight the Russians. And then once they had defeated the Russians, we ditched them with a bunch of our weapons and started exploiting their country. So they used the training and weapons and bullshit that we gave them to wage war against us. Successfully, by the way.
This isn't some conspiracy shit.
No, this is just what happened. But you want to tell me that we have no fucking culpability in what's going on in the Middle East and no culpability in ending it. You know how you end Islamic extremism? With graciousness. You have people show up in your fucking country from those places with extreme ideas about being an Islamic enclave, and you welcome them into your society. You make a home for them in your society. You treat them fairly in your society. What do you think happens generationally? May not happen to the first generation. That's always the case for immigrants. If you look at American immigration, right? Like Irish immigration. It's a really interesting topic. Irish people started to come to America en masse due to bad government reaction to the potato famine and other reasons, just for the opportunity. And when the first generation of people came here, they were treated like shit. And so they created these enclaves. But their children and their children's children just blended into the fucking social landscape. Once Upon a Time in America is a great movie. I agree. Yeah. They were depicted like monkeys, yes. Italian people, same thing. Pretty much anybody. Eastern European immigrants, when they came here, were treated like dog shit. It's happening, dude. You're starting to see it, Robin. You're talking about the day when the United States becomes non-functional as it exists, dude. You're starting to see more. You know, more and more people now support like a breakup of the United States into regional governments than ever before. It's something like 48% of people support some version of like a multi-state solution to breaking up the United States into regional countries. It's just happening, dude. That you think that's gonna stop? No. That'll grow and grow until, it's functionally like possible. People will see the ways that they can capitalize on it, and that'll be that. I mean, like we left these people in enclaves to fend for themselves. We ask ourselves, like, why do immigrants create enclaves in the United States or other places when they move? It's because they're immediately treated with revulsion and shit. And that has only been more extreme in the past. So like you ask yourself, like, what allowed the Italian mafia to gain prominence? The answer to that question is that people, like Italians, were treated like second class citizens. The police didn't police their communities, and so there had to be another fucking structure. And so it became a structure of Italians looking out for Italians and protecting Italians and enforcing some baseline fucking rules in Italian neighborhoods. Now it also led to a lot of fucking crime, but that's how it had to be financed. So every one of these groups of people that I've mentioned so far have completely and utterly integrated into American society. And you want me to fear the immigrant, and I just don't. I'm sorry. The immigrant represents, from where I stand, the culmination of a world dream. The blending of cultures and religions and beliefs and different work ethics to the point where everybody on the planet is just one mishmash of beautiful cooperative tan, like a milky 2 sugar mocha, and we all just live in harmony and peace with, reverence for old traditions, but no need to brutalize for them. Sounds utopian, but given how globalized our society's become, I think my position is a lot more worth wishing for than your position of just enforcing these fucking borders forever. You don't want to be a mutt. You're not worthy of being a mutt. Mutts are the most amazing fucking animals on the planet. You're a piece of shit. You're a turd burglar. A base defiler. Unworthy of an unnoble name. Less flies today. It's been getting colder at night. Hate to say it, but mutts have superior genes. Duh. Duh. Hello. Ka-ching. Ring the dinner bell. Another dead one. We got ourselves a dead fly, boys. Ooh. I don't care what race. I don't want more people in the country. I don't want no more people in my country. What the fuck is your country, bro? You think because your mom pooped you out here, you got some kind of claim to the earth here? Nah, dude. You're living in a delusion that has destroyed the world, and you're still defending. I don't want more people here because they might help out. I don't want more cultures here because they might bring richness and fucking interest to my area and my life, man. I just want USA to be USA. Stay out of my country, boy. Paula, you like the cool uncle I never had? Good. Good. Everybody deserves a cool uncle. Humans are an invasive species. It's the smell. I feel saturated by it. It's the smell. Yeah, you're right, Marshall. It's gonna be carnage. It's gonna be carnage. Tell you what, counselor, there's gonna be carnage. It's gonna be carnage. I tell you what it's gonna be. I tell you something, counselor. It's gonna be carnage. I wish we could see all the outtakes of that. How many times he did, because you know they had him do it like 25 different ways, right? It's gonna be carnage. All right, Woody. Let's try it again. It's gonna be carnage. All right, that was a little low energy. Can you up the energy? It's gonna be. No, don't yell. Cut. Don't yell. All right. It's gonna be carnage. All right, that's a little too jovial. It's you want to. You're crazy. Remember? Oh yeah, I'm crazy. Yeah, I got it. It's gonna be carnage. That's pretty good. Maybe we'll use that one. Let's put that one on the side. Let's do a few more of these though. It's gonna be carnage. I love Woody too, dude. I'm not making fun. I am making fun of Woody, but it's lovingly making fun of Woody. He's a true bastard. Truth is, a lot of white people don't want immigrants because we stole it from the natives, so they assume other people will do the same thing. What? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if that really enters a lot of people's thought process. Maybe it does. Mayhaps. It's gonna be carnage. That's all I know. Yeah, Woody was pretty good in White Men Can't Jump. That's like a movie nobody ever talks about anymore either. Dude, Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson in a fucking street basketball movie. That's pretty dope, dude. It's actually a dope movie. You're right. Black Butter Crunch. I like you. You got good taste. Good old Black Butter Crunch. It's so fun to munch. I don't know, Jawan. I don't know. I'm feeling him. I like that Paul wants us to think past nationalism and ethnic identity. Unfortunately, people still cling to that. I don't necessarily want people to think outside of. Like, here's the thing. I find that blending of cultures happens naturally. There's this thing that you can look up called cultural drift that is just a natural part of human beings. And I embrace it because it's a force that I don't think that we can fight against without piling up bodies and committing atrocities against one another that mean nothing. I am for as much cooperation as we can muster. And that means that I am intrinsically for people of other cultures coming here, people of other nationalities coming here, and providing their own uniqueness to the, you know, to the world, to the country that I happen to be born in, and slowly but surely eroding the usefulness of these types of borders and these more divisive ideologies. And it's a very hippy dippy way of looking at the world, I guess, but it's also kind of how the world has worked in the past. It's like these monocultures always tend to be torn down by some outside influence, and you see a lot of bursts of human innovation wrapped around those cultural events, for good and for ill, I suppose. But it just seems to be how our species works. And somebody recently in a show recommended that I get some kind of thing, some kind of massager wand thing. Oh, that bird is chasing like a dragonfly. You missed it, dude. He's doing like jet maneuvers, bro. It was crazy. He's still chasing it. Fuck. Nature. Anyway, there's some kind of neck massaging thing that was supposedly pretty cheap that was really good, because man, my neck gets so fucking tight. I found ways on that little chirp wheel to like use it. You've seen me kind of like roll my head back and forth on it. It's really good for that. Plus they're multi-use, we could discover other things to do with it.
And you could try my vibrator first and see if it feels good.
I don't know if your vibrator's powerful enough. I think your vibrator's like a normal vibrator. If you had, yeah, the Hitachi wand is what we need, babe. And that one's truly multi-purpose. I feel like giving the land back now would be more of a liability for the Indian people. It's a fantasy thing, like giving the land back. I don't think in the long term it would be a liability for the Indian people, but I think in the short term it would be. But the whole idea of it would require, like, I don't know, Gandalf to come and cast a wizard spell or some shit, so let's not.
What we can do for now is respect the land they already have.
Not only respect it, but support it. And, like, make sure that we respect the sovereignty of it while not allowing them to become enclaves of disease and shit. Providing support as we can and realizing that we still own the problems that they have. Mm-hmm. The problems that exist on Indian reservations, American Indian reservations now, are wholly American problems. And we have to take ownership of that while simultaneously respecting their fucking borders and sovereignty. And so, it's a fucking dicey situation, but we've created that for ourselves, and the best we can do is the best by those people. And that's it. There's nothing fucking like perfect that we can do. There's no undoing the genocide of an entire race of people, and there just being a few of them left. So Europe is going to be flooded out more than any other continent in the next 30 years. You're talking about like with immigrants or with like climate change flooding? Dude, my stomach is rumbling. Do you hear it?
Yeah. You want to get some lunch going?
Maybe, yeah, if you want to. I'm down with getting some lunch going.
Yeah.
Maybe you can order something and then I'll just end it when it gets here or some shit.
I can make you some grilled cheese. Does that sound good?
Grilled cheeses sound fine too. Yeah. I'm down. You don't got to do it right now. I'm not super hungry. I'm just noticing the rumbles starting. I want you talking about the climate change shit, yeah. I mean it works from either way though. There's going to be tons, there already is, tons of North African, Middle Eastern, Indian fucking immigration to Europe fleeing climate disaster, and then it's going to have its own climate disaster going on. Dude, shit. I don't want to get into it again because I spent all day yesterday, but suffice it to say, watch yesterday's Highdeology if you want a deeper dive into some of the challenges that we face as an aggregate. Looking at all of it happening at once, not looking at it as separate problems, but problems that are driven by one another is a little scary and more than a little depressing, bro. I'm not going to get back into it today, though. I'm digging the labor talk today, and I'm digging the kind of just aside stuff, but I'm not going to get back into the fucking climate doomerism today. I just can't fucking cope. I'm on break from climate doomerism. Oh, that's just our...
Yeah, that's just the washing machine. It's gonna be loud, or I'd have to like half fill it for it to not bang around.
It is what it is. It's fine.
I'll get those grilled cheeses started.
All right, baby. I love you.
Want some salami in it too?
Sure. I'm down. At this point in my life, I'm struggling with kind of two different things, really. It's like two different parts of my identity that I care about. And one of it's kind of like there's a selfish side of me that just wants to care about my friends and my family and my closest loved ones, and fuck everybody else and just make sure everybody's safe as they can be. And then there's another part of me that kind of wants the opposite of that, I guess. I don't know. Not the opposite of it, but like I want to be closer to these movements and more involved in them, and that means being closer to the areas where they're happening. I don't know, man. I think the hardest part of that is like my age, Like I'm not old, but I'm getting up there, dude. And I will tell you this, my body is busted down from the 20 plus years I spent in the workforce and shit. My body is busted down, dude. And it's not the longest that people have served. There are people that labor for fucking 40 years at one plant and shit, and more power to them. But I'm just letting you know, like my body and mind are busted down from 20 years of labor. And, my health is probably not the best. I mean, obviously not. And so I need to there's part of me that I know I need to just be selfish. And that means I need to listen to that selfish impulse in me to get the fucking far away from all the tragedy with, my closest family, which is Amelia and Cricket and Dinor. Yes, you. And hope for the best for everybody else and focus. I really, I don't know. Come up here. You can do it. You can jump it. I've seen you do it. Make a leap. Here, I'll push it back. I'll make it easier. Get up here. Come on. Come on. Come around here. Come on. You can do it. Oh, that's a good boy. He's a good boy. Oh. Wow. Oh, you smell so good. You smell like oatmeal. Dude, Aunt Chelsea would be so proud. She would be proud of Dad. You tell her. Dad's been giving him the brush almost every day. Been working on him with it. He's been getting his brush. So he doesn't have any dreadlocks. His hair is all soft and floofy, and he gets his spray almost every day too. His oatmeal spray. So he's soft. Yeah, I get his belly and his armpits. Those are the hardest ones. He doesn't want to let me do it, but the place that I've really worked on with him is because he gets it back here on his legs, on his hind legs. And so I've really worked on him letting me get those real good too. And I get his belly, and I get his little armpitters. Then he gets a treat. Yeah, he mats there, yeah. So he's getting the lavish treatment. He's very soft. Hundy. And then Mom gives him a bath probably once every couple weeks. He gets a good bath. Gets all the dirt, outside dirt, showered off of him. Hind legs and belly are the toughest, yeah. He's got such a weird fucking mix of hair too. Well, thank you for giving me advice that helps me take care of him better. You know, before when I wasn't brushing him enough and stuff, it really wasn't I just was ignorant of how to take care of him right. And so you know, gave me advice and stuff. And so he's a happier boy because of it too. We're actually thinking about maybe getting a pair of clippers and trying to do some very basic like maintenance clips on him. Like being able to clip his little nose area and get because the hair on his nose like grows up. So he's got eyebrows that grow down. So like to be able to keep it out of his face a little bit and, you know, trim some of the easier to trim parts of his body. Just get a little pair of decent clippers and stuff. Because where we're going is going to be pretty cold, so I really don't think he needs to be a naked butt. And as long as we can keep him comfortable, then he could be a hairy butt. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I've been thinking of training people on how to do home grooming. That's a really good idea. I mean, you're really good at it. So, you know, if that's something that, you know, you think you would be interested in doing, I know for a fact you've got the skills to pay the bills. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely like, there's probably a business opportunity there. You come up with like a little, you know, the way that could be really good is like you come up with a little kit that comes with the training. You know, so when they buy into the training or whatever, it comes with like a kit that you have assembled and kind of monetized for yourself to sell to them at a certain premium and whatever, and you get a little bit more money from that too, and it gives them the tools they need to keep their dogs trimmed, and you know what I mean, how to do just kind of like basic maintenance trimming on your dogs and stuff, and have the classes come with like a package of stuff, you know. I bet you could do that, because that sounds like something that people would be more and more interested in. Because I know I'm not the only person that has a horror story, dude. When I took D to that fucking place here locally, and the fucked up thing is, the place I took him to has good reviews and shit. So it's not even like it wasn't even like a place that like was shady or anything. Like it's a well-known, you know, more upscale place, and they fucked him up, man. They fucked his little ears up. He had a fucking ear infection for weeks that I had to put shit in his ear. It was horrible for him. You know, and I like at this point, like I've either got to learn how to do this shit. Like I'll tell you one thing, Chelsea, if you did set up a business like this, you'd already have one customer built in, because I'd go to your fucking class, bro. And I'd buy the whatever kit you put together, and you'd already have one fucking customer, and that should tell you something. Where did you? Oh, never mind. That's your collar. I thought it was a piece of tinsel. Where did you get tinsel? Cricket is great. Cricket is like a really healthy, well-adjusted little kitty. Um, you know, he has his like moments, but that's every cat, you know. But he's a good little guy. He and Dinor, like that was, I think, our biggest worry, is because not for Dinor's sake, but for Cricket's sake, because Cricket had never lived with a dog or really any other animal when he came to live with us. And he and Dinor have the cutest little rivalry, their little brother rivalry. Chase each other around the house, they play with each other. Cricket is fully adjusted to Dinor, and that's very cute. Dinor is actually a great dog for getting along with other animals. Dinor is not an invasive type of dog, so that kind of escalation doesn't happen in play with him. He's very tolerant and very much interested in keeping to himself, but having interactions that are playful with other animals. So he's a really good fit for, you know, being a multi-animal dog. But we're really, unfortunately, not looking at being able to add any animals to our family for a while. Our plan is to move or move in, get an apartment, sign a lease, you know, on an apartment or a townhouse or something down there. That'll, you know, get us by while we look for a piece of property in that area, and hopefully purchase it and either have a house built, which is a total possibility, which would be really cool. I mean, think about that, dude. I would do some crazy shit. If you could have a house built, think about that, man. Like for a person like me, that's a scary proposition, because I would not weird, but yeah, like hidden. I would have a hidden room for sure. I would definitely like have them build in a hidden room, because it's not going to cost more. It's just a standard thing to do. But like, you know, like I said, I have like a whole little study area that's behind a bookshelf or some shit, because I've always wanted that. I would have like maybe like a central room that's right when you come in. That's like this central kind of. I've always wanted to have this house where as soon as not maybe not as soon as you walk in, but when you walk in, it's it's centrally large and tall, and the area is multi-purpose, right? And so like there's a big conversation area where people can sit down and just talk, and then there's a place where people can go chill and watch movies and play video games, and it's all in the same kind of open area, so that when I'm just chilling there with myself and Amelia, we're always in the same room, even if I'm fucking around streaming, or you know, like it's cool, like we're together there. or just playing games or whatever. And when I have people over, it's just easy for people to break up into those natural little groups of twos and threes and fucking some people off in the conversation pit, some people in the kitchen, some people, you know what I mean? I just have all that in one big kind of like open thing. Oh, yeah? Okay. Well, I will finish smoking this cigarette and then I will end this stream. I was just talking about like the idea of maybe building a house and how we could like if you're building your own house and we're talking about like limiting the size of it because we don't need it to be huge, we could do some cool shit with a house. I was talking about like having a secret room, like a secret little study that's behind a fucking bookshelf. I've always wanted that, so why the fuck not?
Done with that house down there if they're laying down concrete.
Well, I
Or it's a
mean,
new foundation for yet another house.
well, there's more fucking construction going on further that way, so it very well could be a brand new house. Yeah, just have like a crazy fucking little secret room in the house and shit. I love that idea. Make it at like a non-standard shape that's functional for you, but doesn't look like everybody else's house, you know? Make it an octagon. Cannot believe anyone is building new houses there. Dude, there's 3 houses at least that I know of being built within a mile of me. 2 of them are within, like I can see them from my backyard. It's crazy, dude. This area is so fucked. I'm out. I'm gone, man. It's just not, it's not workable. The well was the fucking nail in the coffin for me because it really woke me up to how bad the fucking drought had really gotten here. Very different from when California's been in drought for years and years and years. And it's just like, I don't know, dude. It's going to be fucking Mad Max out here in 10 or 15 years, so fuck it. You know, I'm looking to like either buy an already established house. They're basically like 3 parameters, I guess. A house that is so fucked up that it would probably be better to just tear it down and rebuild it or totally repurpose it and remodel it. A house that's already established that happens to appeal to both me and Amelia and our needs, or a lot of land that's ready for a house to be built on and we design a house and have it built. Or have a house designed. I don't know if I would leave it up to us to do it. It would be kind of fun. Be a little